Hey guys, tonight we begin with something a little darker, a journey into a world of hidden beauty and profound sacrifice. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, or just let the silence of your space envelop you. Close your eyes or let your gaze soften and just listen. Let the quiet rhythm of my voice guide you through stories seldom told, into corners of history often overlooked, and let me know in the comments where you are tuning in from and what time it is for you. Take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Tonight, we're diving into the exquisite, yet often agonizing, world of the Geisha. We're exploring the 100 dark secrets that no one talks about, the unseen burdens beneath the silk and the smiles. So, let's ease into tonight's journey together. The first thing you feel, even before you truly see, is the weight of the white mask. It begins with a thick, cold paste, heavy with tradition, and unbeknownst to many in that era, a subtle trace of lead. This isn't a light dusting or a gentle touch of color. It is a deliberate, methodical covering, a full transformation. You feel the brush strokes, cool and precise, sweeping across your face, down your neck, over your chest. Each application is a layer building up, sealing your skin beneath a pristine, opaque canvas. The subtle whisper of the bristles against your skin is the only sound, a soft rasp that marks the beginning of your day. As the paste dries, a strange, almost imperceptible tightening begins. Your skin feels encased, like a delicate porcelain mask forming directly on your flesh. Every muscle in your face rebels against the stillness, yearning for natural movement. You learn quickly that deep breaths, a sudden laugh, even a simple yawn any of these could shatter the fragile perfection. The surface might crack, revealing the human beneath, a flaw in the flawless facade. You exist within this white shell, your expressions frozen, your emotions held captive behind a perfect, unmoving visage. It's a beautiful prison, meticulously crafted, each pore sealed, each natural flush of blood hidden. The world outside sees only the doll, serene and unblemished, while beneath your skin yearns for air, for freedom, for the softness it remembers. Before the mask, before the dances, there's the mud and the cold. You are a Shikomi, an apprentice, the lowest rung in the hierarchical ladder of the Okia. The pre-dawn chill of Gion bites at your skin, sharper than any winter blade, seeping into your bones. Your task, a daily ritual of humility and endurance, is to cleanse not just the physical grime, but the very essence of the Okia's ancient wooden floors. The water you draw from the well, or perhaps from the nearby river, is not merely cold. It's a liquid ice, a shock to every nerve ending, a jolt that steals your breath with its intensity. You dip the rough scrubbing cloth into the frigid depths, the chill immediately seeping into your fingertips, then your palms, then up your arms, a relentless invasion of cold. The rhythmic scrape of the wet cloth against the ancient wood becomes the only sound in the quiet house, a monotonous hypnotic rasp that echoes the emptiness of the early morning. Your hands, raw and red, quickly become chapped, then cracked. Tiny rivulets of blood bloom on your skin, mixing with the water and the wood dust, a silent testament to your labor. This isn't just cleaning, it is an initiation, a daily baptism in discomfort, designed to strip away the softness, the resistance, the self that you once knew. The numbness spreads, then recedes, replaced by a dull ache that settles deep in your bones, a constant companion in the biting cold of winter mornings. It's a relentless physical education, teaching you endurance through pain, obedience through chilling discomfort. When the day's endless chores finally end, sleep should be a refuge, a soft escape into oblivion. But for you, it is another test, another subtle form of torture. Your bed awaits, but your pillow is not soft down or yielding cotton. It is a Takamakura, a small, hard wooden stand barely larger than your neck. Its purpose is singular and unforgiving, to preserve the intricate, heavily waxed masterpiece of your hair, a coiffure that took hours to create and would take more hours to repair. You carefully position your neck on its unforgiving surface. Your head floats, unsupported, in the air above it, a precarious balance. Around the base of this wooden scaffold, your attendant has scattered a handful of rice grains, not for decoration, but as a cruel alarm system. Should your head slip, should you succumb to the blissful oblivion of deep sleep, the rice will stick to the precious wax, ruining the elaborate style. And tomorrow you'll face the consequences, the laborious, painful process of redoing it all. So you lie there, suspended between waking and dreaming, a semi-conscious sentinel guarding your own hair. The constant pressure on your neck is a dull throb that radiates down your spine, a persistent ache, the faint, cloying scent of hair wax, a reminder of your waking artistry, even in slumber, fills your senses. You must maintain a profound stillness, every muscle tense, afraid to shift, afraid to breathe too deeply. It's less a pillow and more a device of exquisite, prolonged discomfort, turning the natural act of rest into a nightly performance of rigid self-control. You stand, a silent canvas, as the layers begin. The kimono, not merely a garment, but a ritual, a profound transformation. Silk upon silk cool against your skin at first, then warming as the fabric multiplies, creating an inner world of rustling quiet. But the true binding, the heart of this sartorial cage, is the obi. The wide, intricate sash, a masterpiece of weaving and design, now becomes an instrument of subtle, elegant torture. This is where the breath learns its new, constrained rhythm. An otokashi, a male dresser, stands before you. His hands, strong and practiced, move with an almost brutal efficiency. There is no gentleness in this moment, only purpose. You feel the first wrap snug but not yet tight, then another and another, each layer of silk a deliberate step in your encasement. You hear the faint, almost imperceptible shack of silk against silk, a sound like a quiet sigh, or perhaps a whisper of protest from the material itself. As it is pulled taut, the pressure begins. It's not a gentle hug, it's a tightening, a compression that seems to squeeze the very air from your lungs. You feel the obi cinching around your torso, just beneath your breasts, then lower, around your waist. His knuckles, hard and bony, press against your back as he pulls, securing the intricate knot with a formidable strength. You can feel your ribs, distinct and fragile beneath your skin, being pressed inward, a subtle ache beginning, a dull throb that will soon become a constant companion, a quiet pulse beneath the layers of silk. This is the binding of the breath. Your diaphragm, accustomed to its expansive, natural movement, now finds itself trapped. It yearns for that deep, satisfying inhale, that full, unhindered expansion of the lungs. But it cannot. The obi is an unyielding barrier, a silken wall of woven strength. You are forced to breathe differently, to adapt. Your breath becomes shallow, residing only in the upper chambers of your chest. Quick, short sips of air, just enough to sustain you, but never enough to truly fill you, to grant that deep, restorative sigh. The air in the room, already warm from the charcoal brazier and the accumulating layers of fabric, feels thick, almost viscous. Each shallow breath is a conscious effort, a miniature struggle. You might feel a subtle lightheadedness, a faint wooziness that settles behind your eyes, a slight swimminess in your vision. This isn't unpleasant, not exactly. It is a kind of detachment, a gentle blurring of the edges of reality, a constant, low-level hum in your consciousness. Some say this very state, this perpetual mild hypoxia, contributes to the ethereal, dreamlike quality of a geisha's presence. The delicate, willow-like elegance, the slightly distant gaze, the languid movements. It is all part of this enforced, quiet constriction, a beauty born from physical limitation. The layers of silk, now tightly bound, create an internal warmth, almost a feverish embrace. You are encased, sealed within your own elaborate costume. The heat builds, trapped between your skin and the fabric, a constant, enveloping presence. It is a comforting heat in the depths of winter, perhaps, a shield against the biting cold, but a heavy, almost suffocating warmth in other seasons, a silent weight on your entire being. You feel the weight of the silk, the relentless pressure of the obi, a constant reminder of your transformed state, of the role you are about to embody. Every movement becomes deliberate, precise, an act of conscious grace. A deep bow is impossible. A sudden turn feels clumsy, constrained, a violation of the elegant lines the obi creates. You are a living sculpture, molded by cloth and custom, a vessel of tradition. The otokoshi steps back, his work complete. You stand perfectly poised, perfectly bound. The mirror reflects an image of serene beauty, a figure of grace and delicate composure, an almost otherworldly stillness. But beneath the layers, beneath the silk and the elaborate knot, your body is protesting in its own quiet way. Your chest feels heavy, a continuous pressure, and your breath is a constant, shallow whisper. The silence in the room is broken only by the faint thrumming of your own constricted pulse, a quiet beat against the silken cage, and the quiet, almost imperceptible rustle of fabric as you take your first, measured steps. You are ready to move through the world, a breathtaking spectacle, a servant of the shallow breath. The air around you seems to hum with the unspoken tension of your elegant confinement, a beautiful, fragile prison of silk and will. You feel the gentle sway of your body, a consequence of your restricted core, giving you that characteristic soft, yielding movement, as if the slightest breeze could move you. The world outside the obi feels distant, observed through a slight haze. This is the art of constraint, the beauty of the bound breath. Your posture is impeccable, your back straight, your shoulders held just so, not by conscious effort alone, but by the physical imposition of the garment itself. The very act of standing and moving becomes a performance, a testament to endurance and grace. The pressure across your diaphragm means that even laughter must be controlled, a light, tinkling sound rather than a full, unrestrained peal. Every aspect of your physical expression is filtered through this binding, creating a persona that is both captivating and profoundly controlled. The shamisen awaits. Its 3 strings taut and resonant, promise melody, but demand sacrifice. You pick up the bachi, the large ivory plectrum. It feels heavy in your hand, an extension of your will, a tool of both creation and quiet destruction. Your fingers, already calloused from countless hours of diligent practice, are still not enough. The exquisite music that flows from this instrument, so essential to your art, is born from a quiet, persistent violence against your own flesh, a testament to endurance. Hours turn into days, days into weeks, all spent hunched over the instrument in the chilly confines of the practice room. The bachi strikes the taut skin of the shamisen, a crisp, percussive sound, almost like a drum beat, before the string sings its note. Thwack, ding, thwack, ding. A rhythmic pulse that fills the room, echoing in your ears, in your very bones, a relentless rhythm that imprints itself on your consciousness. Your left hand, the one that presses against the strings to form the notes, bears the brunt of this daily assault. The strings are not gentle. They are thin, almost invisible wires of silk or sometimes gut, but they cut with the precision of a surgeon's blade, sharp and unforgiving. You press down hard to achieve the perfect pitch, the pure, resonant tone that is the hallmark of mastery. And then you slide your fingers, gliding up and down the neck, the friction a constant abrasion, a slow wearing away of your skin. Slowly, painstakingly, the skin on your fingertips hardens, thickens, forming layers of protective callus. They become like tiny shields, a testament to your relentless dedication, a physical record of every note played. But even calluses have their limits, especially in the biting cold of winter. The air in the okiya is thin and dry, your skin already prone to cracking and chapping from the constant exposure to cold water and harsh chores. One wrong slide, one moment of fatigue, one slightly misjudged pressure, and the string slices through the hardened skin. A sharp, sudden sting, then a warm, wet sensation, a tiny blossoming of pain. You glance down, a thin, red line, a bead of blood, tiny but vivid against the pale skin of your fingertip, a stark contrast to the white makeup you usually wear. It's a common sight, an almost daily occurrence, a badge of your profession. Your teacher, an older one-asan with fingers like gnarled roots, scarred and thickened by decades of practice, simply nods. No words of comfort, no pause, no moment of sympathy. Her gaze is unwavering, her expectation absolute. She points to a small bowl of ice water waiting beside you, a silent, chilling companion to your practice. Without hesitation, you dip your bleeding finger into the frigid depths. The ice water is a shock, a brutal, immediate sting that makes you gasp, an involuntary shudder running through your body. It cleanses the wound, constricts the capillaries, and numbs the pain, or at least pushes it to a dull throb beneath the surface, a distant echo of the initial sharpness. The pain is a sharp, icy needle, then a deep, aching cold that seeps into your bones, chilling you to the core, a physical manifestation of the demanding discipline. Then you pull your hand out, shake off the excess water, and return it to the strings. The numbness is a temporary reprieve, a brief moment of grace. But the raw sensitivity of the wound is still there, a constant reminder, a throbbing pulse beneath your skin. The music resumes. Thwack, ding, thwack, ding. The beautiful melody, flowing effortlessly, seems to mock the silent sacrifice of your fingertips, the unseen pain that gives it life. They are instruments themselves, these fingers honed and broken, made beautiful through suffering, their sensitivity sacrificed for the purity of sound. The smell of old wood, the faint metallic tang of fresh blood, and the subtle scent of the shamisen's taut skin mingle in the air. You focus on the rhythm, on the precise placement of each finger, on the delicate vibrato that brings the notes to life. Your mind pushes past the physical discomfort, past the stinging, past the throbbing. The music demands your full attention, your complete surrender, a meditative focus that transcends pain. And so you play on the silent strings of blood weaving themselves into the vibrant tapestry of sound. The ice melts, the water warms slightly with your body heat, but the cold, deep ache in your finger remains, a constant companion to the melody, a quiet hum beneath the beautiful notes. You become accustomed to it, this symphony of sensation 2 and D. The crisp sound of the bocce, the sharp slice of the string, the biting sting of the ice, and the subsequent dull throb, all blending into the singular pursuit of perfection. This is the price of artistry, etched onto your very skin, a beautiful, painful secret hidden within every flawless note. The calluses grow, layer upon layer, but the deeper wounds, the ones that sting with every touch, are a constant reminder of the physical cost of your ethereal art. The sounds you produce are light, airy, almost effortless, a stark contrast to the raw physical exertion of their creation. Your hair, long and black, is your crown, but also your torment. The elaborate traditional Japanese hairstyles, the nyongami, are not simply arranged, they are sculpted, pulled, and held in place with a formidable arsenal of pins, combs, and most importantly, hot wax. This daily ritual, a cornerstone of your public presentation, an emblem of your artistry, is also a slow, insidious form of self-destruction, a quiet battle waged upon your own scalp. Each morning, or often every few days, to preserve the intricate style, you endure the meticulous process. A skilled hairdresser, or sometimes an older wana-san whose own scalp bears the scars of such devotion, works on your head. The comb, a sturdy wooden tool, scrapes against your scalp with a sound that is both familiar and vaguely unpleasant, a dry, grating whisper that seems to echo the tension building within you. Your hair is sectioned, then pulled tightly, relentlessly, away from your face, away from your temples, away from your nape, forming the dramatic lines and voluminous shapes required. You feel the tug, a sharp, immediate tension that makes your eyes water slightly, a physical reaction to the strain. Then comes the wax, hot, sticky, and often infused with subtle fragrances. It is applied with careful precision to hold the intricate loops and rolls of the nyongami. You smell its distinctive, slightly sweet, slightly acrid scent as it warms and softens, then hardens, cementing each strand, each section, into an unyielding form. The wax, once cool, acts like a rigid cast, fixing your hair in its elaborate gravity-defying shape. But this rigidity comes at a profound cost. Your scalp is in a constant state of tension, a perpetual pull that never truly relaxes, never truly lets go. It's like wearing a tight, invisible helmet, a constant, binding pressure, day in and day out for years. Years of this relentless pulling take their toll. Slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, Your hairline begins to recede. The delicate baby hairs at your temples vanish, replaced by smooth, bare skin, a subtle widening of your forehead, patches of your scalp, particularly around the areas of greatest tension, foodie, the crown, the temples, behind the ears two ends start to thin. This is the secret shame of many geisha baldness. Small, circular patches where the hair refuses to grow, where the follicles have simply given up under the constant, unremitting strain, a quiet rebellion of the body. This is a hidden wound, a private sorrow. It is meticulously covered, disguised with black powder to darken the exposed skin, with artfully placed false hairpieces that blend seamlessly with your own, or with the strategic draping of your remaining locks. No one outside your inner circle, certainly no client, must ever see this imperfection. It is a flaw in the perfect illusion, a crack in the carefully constructed facade of beauty. The shame is deep, a feeling that your body is failing the very standard of beauty it is meant to uphold. The pain is not always acute, but it is constant, a low, throbbing hum beneath the surface of your composure. A dull ache, a persistent tension in your scalp, especially at the end of a long day, when the style has been held for hours upon hours through countless dances and conversations. Sometimes a fierce headache blooms behind your eyes, radiating from the base of your skull, a direct consequence of the unyielding strain. You learn to live with it, to compartmentalize the discomfort, to project an image of effortless grace and serene beauty, while your scalp screams in silent protest, a quiet testament to your unwavering discipline. The smell of the wax, once a neutral part of the ritual, now carries a faint undertone of your sacrifice, a subtle reminder of the physical cost. The feeling of your scalp, perpetually stretched and pulled, becomes a part of your identity, a constant, low-level sensation you no longer consciously register. Yet it is always there. You touch your head, and instead of soft, yielding hair, you feel the hard, lacquered surface, a beautiful, painful shell. The beauty of your coiffure is undeniable, a marvel of traditional artistry, a testament to skill and patience, but it is a beauty built on a foundation of quiet suffering, a secret baldness hidden beneath a masterpiece of hair, a crowning glory that slowly, painfully consumes itself. The weight of the hair, stiff with wax, feels like a constant, heavy pressure, pulling down, always pulling. Even when you are still, you feel the subtle tremor of your scalp, a memory of the force applied to create this exquisite, painful sculpture. The sun begins to warm the intricate patterns of the sliding shoji screens, but inside the okiya, a different kind of morning ritual unfolds. For a Maiko, the day's first challenge often begins not with the brush of white powder, but with the heavy, unyielding embrace of her footwear. You slip your feet into the Okobo, those towering wooden clogs that distinguish you from every other woman on the streets of Jian. They are not merely shoes, they are a declaration, a burden, and a constant physical reminder of your chosen path. Imagine their weight. Each Okobo feels like a small block of polished timber, carved for a purpose that defies comfort. They are high, impossibly high, lifting you several inches off the ground, an elevation that grants an illusion of grace, while simultaneously demanding an immense effort of balance. As you try to take your first tentative steps, the clogs feel alien, almost defiant against your will. They are not designed for swift movement or for the natural, unthinking stride of a modern woman. No, These are instruments of restriction, forcing a pace that is deliberate, measured, and agonizingly slow. The sound they make is distinctive, a hollow resonant. Kopo-kopo as the heavy wood strikes the ancient stone pathways of Gion. It's a sound that echoes through the quiet morning, announcing your presence long before you are seen. Each ko is a lift, each po a placement, a rhythmic, almost meditative cadence that belies the intense concentration required for every single step. There's no rushing here, no hurried dash across the street. The Okobo dictate your tempo, transforming every journey into a performance, a slow-motion ballet of precarious balance. Feel your toes. They are not simply resting within the shoe. They are actively engaged, constantly gripping the edges of the wooden platform, fighting for purchase, trying to stabilize your precarious perch. This isn't a passive act. It is a continuous, low-level muscular spasm. Over time, your toes begin to reshape, adapting to this constant demand. They splay, they curl, they develop a unique, almost claw-like grip, a silent testament to the daily struggle. The arch of your foot aches, the muscles in your calves scream a quiet protest, and your ankles, perpetually working to counteract the instability, feel stretched and strained. Every step is a micro-adjustment, a delicate dance of weight distribution. Lean too far forward, and you risk pitching headfirst onto the cobbled street. Lean too far back, and the clogs might slip out from under you, sending you sprawling. It's a constant battle against gravity, a subtle, full-body engagement that transforms the simple act of walking into a highly skilled form of acrobatics. You learn to take these tiny shuffling steps, your knees slightly bent, your body held in a posture of exquisite tension. The natural swing of your arms is muted, your torso held rigid, all to maintain that delicate equilibrium. This forced gait, this hobbled elegance, isn't accidental. It's an intentional part of the Maiko's training, a way of shaping not just her movement but her very being. The Okobo are a physical manifestation of the constraints placed upon her, a constant reminder of the limited sphere in which she operates. They slow her down, make her vulnerable, and in doing so enhance the illusion of fragility and refinement. It's a beauty born of restriction, a grace forged in discomfort. Imagine a long walk to an engagement, perhaps to a tea house across the district. The initial excitement of the journey slowly gives way to a dull, throbbing ache in your feet. The kopo-kopo sound, once an atmospheric detail, becomes a monotonous drumbeat, marking the relentless passage of time and the accumulating fatigue. Your shoulders tense, your back stiffens, and a subtle tremor runs through your legs as you try to maintain that perfect, unyielding posture. The world seems to tilt slightly with each step, your field of vision narrowed to the immediate path ahead, lest a misplaced foot lead to a stumble, a fall, a break in the carefully constructed illusion. Even standing still in Okobo is an exercise in subtle tension. Your weight shifts from one foot to the other, a constant, unconscious sway as your muscles try to find a moment's respite. When you finally remove them at the end of a long day, the relief is profound, almost dizzying. Your feet feel light, almost weightless, but also strangely numb, then tingling as blood rushes back into the compressed muscles and aching joints. The imprint of the wooden edges remains on your skin, a temporary tattoo of your daily discipline. The Okobo are a cage, yes, but one that shapes the bird within, forcing it to sing a particular, beautiful and utterly constrained song. As the Okobo shape your walk, another, more insidious constraint shapes your face. The unwavering expectation of the frozen smile. From the moment you step into the world of the geisha, your emotions are no longer entirely your own. They become a performance, a carefully curated display designed to charm, to soothe, to entertain, but never to reveal. The true self, with its fleeting sorrows and genuine frustrations, must remain hidden, locked away behind a mask of serene composure. Imagine the subtle tension in your facial muscles. Your lips are trained to curve gently upwards, just so at the corners. Not a wide, boisterous grin, but a delicate, almost melancholic upturn, a permanent echo of pleasantness. This isn't an expression of joy, it is a professional necessity. You are a living work of art, and every brushstroke, every detail, must contribute to the overall aesthetic of quiet beauty and unwavering grace. Behind the layers of white makeup, beneath the carefully painted eyebrows, your eyes must reflect the same placid tranquility. They might sparkle with wit or soften with empathy, but they must never betray anger or fear or genuine heartbreak. The perfect but empty gaze is a phrase that might sound harsh, but it captures the essence of this emotional detachment. It is a look that invites, yet holds at a distance, a window that shows only a carefully arranged still life, never the turbulent landscape within. Think of the countless hours spent practicing this control. In front of a mirror, you might experiment trying to find the precise angle of your head, the exact degree of your smile, the subtle tilt of your eyes that conveys warmth without vulnerability. You learn to disconnect the muscle memory of your face from the raw impulses of your heart. A client might be rude, a conversation might be tiresome, a memory might sting with a sudden ache. But your face remains a calm, unruffled pond. The corners of your mouth stay up, your eyes remain soft, your posture unchanged. This constant performance is a form of psychological anesthesia. Over time, the mask begins to feel less like something you put on and more like something that has grown into your skin. The muscles of your face, perpetually held in that gentle curve, begin to stiffen. You might find it genuinely difficult to contort your face into a frown or to let loose a truly unrestrained, open-mouthed laugh. The range of your emotional expression narrows, not just outwardly but internally. Consider a moment of genuine pain. Perhaps your feet ache from hours in Okobo, or your head throbs from the tight pull of your elaborate wig. A sudden, sharp pang of loneliness might pierce through the carefully constructed facade. In that instant, your instinct might be to wince, to sigh, to let a tear well up in your eye. But you cannot. The smile must hold. The eyes must remain serene. The pain is a private matter, an internal battle fought silently, unseen by the appreciative gaze of your guests. Sometimes, a fan becomes your silent accomplice. With a flick of the wrist, you can bring the painted silk up to cover the lower half of your face, creating a momentary shadow, a fleeting veil behind which a flicker of genuine emotion might briefly escape, only to be recaptured before the fan is lowered. It's a brief respite, a tiny rebellion against the tyranny of the smile. The doll's smile is not merely about suppressing negative emotions. It's also about refining the positive ones. A geisha's laughter is rarely boisterous. It's a delicate titter, a melodic giggle that suggests amusement without ever becoming undignified. Her expressions of delight are subtle, a brightening of the eyes, a slight deepening of the smile lines around her mouth. Everything is understated, controlled, polished to a high sheen. The true tragedy of the doll's smile is not just the discomfort of holding it, but the potential loss of the ability to shed it. What happens when the performance ends, and you are alone in your room? Does the smile linger a ghost on your lips, even when there is no one left to charm? Do you look in the mirror and see only the mask, wondering where the authentic, unvarnished expression of your true self has gone? The silence of your private moments might be filled with an unsettling emptiness, a hollowness where genuine feeling once resided. The doll's smile is a masterpiece of self-erasure, a beautiful prison built from the most delicate of human expressions. Within the walls of the okiya, beneath the public facade of elegance and artistry, lies a complex and often ruthless world of hierarchy and tradition. This is the invisible sisterhood, a family bound not by blood, but by debt, discipline, and the shared pursuit of an ancient art. Yet, it is a sisterhood where individuality is systematically erased, and privacy is a luxury that simply does not exist. Imagine your entrance into this world. As a Shikomi, you are at the very bottom, a silent shadow in the bustling household. But even as you ascend the ranks from Minarai to Maiko and eventually to Geisha, the sense of being part of a larger, older entity never truly leaves you. You are given a new name, a geisha name chosen by your mother, Okasan of the Okiya. This name is not just a label, it is a legacy, often inherited from a successful geisha of the past, a silent promise of the path you are expected to follow. And with that new name, you often inherit more than just a lineage. You inherit old kimonos worn by your older sister, Wani-san, who has moved on or retired. These garments, though beautiful, carry the scent of another's life, another's experiences, another's triumphs and sorrows. They are not tailored for you. You are tailored for them. Your body expected to conform to the existing shape, to slide into the mold of tradition. There is a faint mustiness to the silk, a ghostly echo of past performances, past laughter, past tears. It is a beautiful kind of hand-me-down, but a hand-me-down nonetheless, a constant reminder that you are not creating something entirely new, but merely continuing a long-established pattern. Perhaps most significantly, you inherit debt. The vast sums spent on your training, your kimonos, your makeup, your very upkeep, are not freely given. They are an investment, a loan that you are expected to repay through your earnings. And often, a portion of your Wanasan's lingering debt might be silently transferred to your ledger, binding you further into the intricate financial web of the Okiya. This is the invisible chain that links generations, a silent agreement to shoulder the burdens of those who came before you. Life in the Okiya is a collective existence, a constant proximity that leaves no room for personal space or true solitude. Your sleeping quarters, often shared with other Maiko or younger Shikomi, are separated by thin shoji screens, paper doors that offer no soundproofing, no real barrier against the outside world. Imagine lying on your futon trying to find sleep, but every rustle, every sigh, every quiet cough from the next room is audible. You hear the soft, almost imperceptible slide of a screen as someone rises in the night. You catch the hushed whispers of your sisters, their secrets shared in tones too low for comprehension, yet loud enough to remind you that you are never truly alone. This lack of privacy extends beyond the sleeping quarters. Every aspect of your life is observed, managed, and critiqued. Your meals are communal, your study sessions supervised, your practice hours monitored. There are no hidden corners, no secret nooks where you can truly escape the watchful eyes of the Okasan or your One-san. Your every movement, your every expression, your every utterance is part of a larger, ongoing assessment. You learn to perform even when no client is present, for the internal audience of the Okiya is always there, always judging, always shaping. Individuality, in the conventional sense, is gently but firmly discouraged. You are not encouraged to develop a unique style that deviates too much from the established aesthetic. Instead, you are taught to embody the ideal, to perfect the traditional forms, to become a flawless vessel for the art. Your personal preferences, your nascent opinions, your dreams that might stray too far from the Okiya's expectations are gradually eroded, smoothed away by the relentless current of tradition. You become part of the collective, a single thread woven into a magnificent, ancient tapestry. The atmosphere can feel heavy, infused with the scent of old wood, simmering tea, and the faint, almost imperceptible smell of generations of women who have lived and breathed within these same walls. It's a smell of history, of sacrifice, and of an enduring, almost suffocating sense of belonging. The invisible sisterhood is both a support system and a cage. It provides a sense of family, a shared purpose, and a network of protection in an often challenging world. But it also demands a profound surrender of the self, a willingness to become an echo rather than an original voice, a link in a chain that stretches back through centuries, binding you tightly to the past. The thin paper doors, sliding softly in the night, are a constant reminder that even in your most private moments, you are never truly apart from the intricate, intertwined lives of your sisters. The heavy stillness of the early morning often brought with it a different kind of ritual, one steeped in a tradition that defied the natural order of things. Beyond the pristine white of the face, beyond the elaborate coiffure, there lay a secret, a stark visual declaration of commitment that few outside the geisha world ever truly understood. This was the practice of ohagoro, the blackening of the teeth. Imagine, if you will, the taste of iron and the sharp tang of vinegar. The preparation was simple, yet potent. Iron filings steeped in tea or sake, left to ferment until they created a thick, inky black liquid. This was not a cosmetic choice for a fleeting moment, but a deliberate, semi-permanent transformation. You would sit perhaps in the soft glow of a single lantern, feeling the rough brush come towards your mouth, the first touch of the dye against your gums, against the enamel of your teeth, would bring a visceral, almost metallic bitterness. It was an astringent sensation, a puckering of the tongue and cheeks, as if the very essence of bitterness was being painted onto your being. The smell was undeniable, a raw, almost earthy scent of rust and fermentation that filled your nostrils, mingling with the faint perfume of the room. Each stroke of the brush was precise, ensuring every surface of every tooth was coated in this dark, unyielding hue. You would feel the dye cool and then dry, a thin film settling over your teeth, changing their texture, making them feel alien within your own mouth. When you finally looked into the small, polished mirror, the reflection would reveal a face transformed. The pristine white of your skin, that carefully constructed mask, would now be framed by a mouth of absolute darkness. It was a void, a stark, almost unsettling contrast. The black teeth did more than just signify beauty in an age when such a look was admired. They served a deeper, more profound purpose. They obscured, they concealed, with teeth so black the subtle flickers of emotion, the tiny tremors of a smile that didn't quite reach the eyes, the involuntary clench of a jaw in frustration of fun, all were swallowed by the darkness. Your mouth became a silent, impenetrable cavern, a perfect complement to the frozen doll, like smile that was your public face. No genuine grimace, no flicker of true amusement could betray you. Your expressions became even more carefully curated, your inner world receding further behind this visual barrier, a silent oath of loyalty to the art of concealment. The taste of iron and vinegar would linger, a constant, subtle reminder of the sacrifice made for the singular, powerful aesthetic. In the ephemeral world of the Geisha, time was not merely a concept. It was a physical, tangible entity, measured by the slow, inexorable burn of an incense stick. This was the sank dai, the incense stick fee, the very currency of their presence. You would sit in the softly lit room, perhaps a faint haze of sake and tobacco smoke hanging in the air, the low murmur of conversation a constant backdrop. And there, on a small, ornate stand, a single stick of incense would be lit. Its tip would glow a faint, steady red, a tiny ember holding the weight of your evening, your efforts, your very being. The air would fill with its delicate, woody fragrance, a scent that became synonymous with the passage of time, with the unfolding of an evening's entertainment. You would watch it, perhaps unconsciously, as the glowing ember slowly, patiently consumed the stick, turning it into a fine gray ash that curled and dropped, silently, into the small tray below. Each falling flake of ash was a moment gone, a minute of your life, of your youth, exchanged for the pleasure and companionship you offered. This wasn't just a clock, it was a living, breathing metaphor for your existence. Each stick represented a segment of your time, a unit of your value. You learned to feel the rhythm of its burning, to gauge the remaining time not by numbers, but by the visible shortening of the stick, the growing pile of ash. The conversations would flow, the music would play, the sake cups would clink, and all the while, the incense would continue its quiet, relentless work. It was a subtle pressure, a constant, unspoken reminder that every gesture, every song, every witty remark was measured, quantified, paid for. The faint red glow of the burning tip became a focal point in the dimness, a tiny pulsing heart of the evening. The silence of the falling ash was profound, a whisper of what was and what was no more. It was a tangible representation of your life being carved into segments, into transactions, into moments that once were and now belong to the past. The scent of the incense, the gentle waft of smoke would cling to your kimono, to your hair, a soft, aromatic memory of evenings spent in careful performance, in the delicate dance of time and service. And as the stick burned down to its final embers, a new one would be lit, extending the evening, extending the transaction, extending the quiet, beautiful consumption of your carefully crafted hours. When the last guest had finally departed, when the laughter and the music had faded into the quiet hum of the night, came the most private, perhaps the most honest, ritual of all. This was the washing of the face, the slow, deliberate dissolution of the mask that had defined your public self. You would retreat to your small, quiet space, the air now cool and still after the warmth of the evening. The first step was to take the heavy, thick oil, specially formulated to break down the layers of white paste, the meticulously applied powders, and the vibrant pigments. You would begin by gently massaging it into your skin, feeling its cool, slick texture against your cheeks, your forehead, your throat. It was a strange, almost meditative sensation, the dissolving of your public persona under your own fingertips. The white paste, once so unyielding, would begin to melt, to streak, turning into a milky, oily residue that ran down your face. As the mask dissolved, so too did the carefully constructed illusion. The flawless porcelain skin gave way to the reality beneath. Perhaps a faint flush from the evening's sake, the fine lines of fatigue around your eyes, or the subtle texture of your own skin, now freed from its heavy covering. You would take a soft cloth dipped in warm water and gently wipe away the residue. With each stroke, the painted eyebrows would disappear. The crimson of your lips would fade, and the stark white would yield to the natural paleness of your complexion. This was the moment of truth, a solitary confrontation with the self in the quiet glow of a single candle. In the mirror, you would see not the doll-like figure of the geisha, but the woman beneath. Her face might be tired, perhaps marked by the subtle lines of age, or the occasional blemish that the thick makeup had so perfectly concealed. It was a face that held the memories of the evening, the unspoken thoughts, the private emotions that had been so carefully hidden behind the frozen smile. There was a profound sense of release as the last traces of makeup were washed away, a physical shedding of a heavy burden. Your skin could breathe again, feeling the cool air against its bitterness. Yet, with this release often came a wave of solitude. This was your moment, and yours alone. No guests, no attendants, just you and your reflection, stripped bare of all artifice. The silence of the room would deepen, broken only by the gentle splash of water as you rinsed your face, or the soft sigh that escaped your lips. You would look at your true face in the mirror, perhaps for a long moment, acknowledging the woman who had carried the weight of the white mask. Then, with a quiet deliberation, you would reach out and gently blow out the candle. The room would plunge into a soft, encompassing darkness, a velvet curtain drawn over the day's performance. And in that soothing darkness, you can now let go. Let the weight of the day, the echoes of history, gently recede. Feel the softness of your bed, the quiet rhythm of your own breath. Allow your eyelids to grow heavy, your muscles to relax. Drift now into the peaceful embrace of sleep, where dreams can wander freely and all masks are finally shed. Good night.